Ellen?
I mean, I'm fine. I'm not upset at you, you know.
Since when? Because this morning you were cursing and yelling.
Yeah, I mean...
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are talking to you guys about, well, married at first sight, and we're dealing with specifically Justin, and we're dealing also with Alexis. But I want to focus simply on this, that, you know, for Justin, he's a nice guy, but that nice guy is a cover-up for the actual truth. Because he just came out here right now, you just heard it quite eloquently in the video, he said, I'm not feeling no type of way. No, I'm not feeling no type of way. No, I'm okay. And it's like, no, you weren't okay a minute ago. Why don't you want to say why do you want to not say that you're not okay? And I think that's a very clear indication that we're dealing with somebody who is a nice guy. We're dealing with somebody who is not being truthful about their feelings. Therefore, it does become an act of manipulation, because the real truth is, because you're a people pleaser, you're trying to manipulate the person by doing things for them in order for them to respond. So it's not a thing that you're doing out of love. It's not a thing you generally do not care. You're almost doing it to be validated. So then it becomes less about being authentic, I care for you, servitude, but really more about almost sometimes being about, how do I twist your hand with my niceness to get you to do what I want you to do? Now that seems very nefarious, because it's like, no, I'm a nice person, doesn't mean that. We get it. He's a cool person. He's not a bad person at all. But he uses niceness as a form of way to kind of compensate, when really, sir, you want to tell her how you feel? You don't like the fact she said what she said, and that's okay. I'm hurt right now, and that's okay. I didn't like the form of communication. That's okay. These are my boundaries. That's okay. And you're allowed to say that, but don't be so scared at the detriment of losing your partner. You become this nice, quote unquote, person in order to keep the person locked in. That's not going to help the relationship thrive, or it's not going to help the relationship grow. All you're going to do is literally stunt the growth of the relationship, and that also cause you problems, because you're always going to feel some type of way that, you know, you feel like you're not actually able to give your absolute best and your wholesome self. But we'll discuss that more on this particular video. Like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, we know what it is, baby. You have got the minerals. Listen, let's get into the video, man. All right, cool. Let's play a little bit more of the clip. And we'll talk a little bit about this nice guy act.
You keep telling me every time we bicker that you're done. I'm just like, well, like, I want to fight for our marriage, but when you say, hey, I'm done, I don't know what that means.
Now, you heard him say, obviously, you know, I want to fight for this marriage, everything like that. But when I hear you say, you know, I'm done, you know, I'm not really sure. What he's really saying here is, I feel unsecure in this moment, and I should call this a breakdown. In fact, I don't want to go too deep in this, because I want to do a separate breakdown of the whole entire video. But what he's really saying here is that, you know what, when I hear what you're done, I feel insecure in those moments, and it makes me think like you're actually done with a relationship. Which she goes on to explain, that's not what I mean. I mean, when I'm done with a conversation, which is fair. And actually, I want to really put some praise on Alexis, because I feel like she communicated so well, and I'll do a separate video for it as well. She did very well to actually explain how she feels, how she, you know, what she's thinking, and what things actually meant. Now, whether you agree with her, or whether you think that Justin's on the right or what, I personally don't really care. What's really important is who's going to communicate. Who's willing to communicate effectively, and who's going to communicate the truth? Truth of the matter is, Justin, you feel some type of way at the situation because you made a mistake, and it's actually, she called it out, and we can talk about this maybe on another video as well and go deeper. I don't know, I keep saying that, but it's because I like to separate issues. I don't want people to get conflated. She said, obviously, you know, you didn't tell me about the whole dog being sick for 2 days. Now he's not isn't eaten, and now you're trying to give him some medicine. Like, you didn't tell me this stuff. You didn't overshare. That's not even oversharing. That was actually information that was pertinent and important, and he didn't share that. He didn't share that, and the reason why he didn't share that is because it would have made him look incompetent. And the one thing he's gonna hate is looking incompetent, because it would mean then he can't be a good leader as a man. Because already there's some insecurity about the way he leads as a man. He cries a lot. No offense. And so now, if I make a mistake, and well, it's not just men, women do this too. If I make a mistake, it's going to make me look incompetent, but not just incompetent, it's actually attached to my ego. I've got a very fragile ego in the sense of myself. I'm going to feel like it's not just I've made a mistake, I'm a mistake when I made that mistake. So I can't get things wrong because your judgment of my action actually is a judgment of me. And that's what we talk about, fragile ego. And so unfortunately, he's going to struggle not to, and that's why when he makes a mistake, he really wants to be heard and I don't want to even say coddled, but wants to be insulated, because what he really is saying is, when I make a mistake, and I know this because part of it's in me, when I make a mistake, don't berate me, don't kill me, like, because I'm trying my best and I made a mistake. I'm sorry. That's what he really wants to hear from her, but he isn't going to get that from her. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying what the fact is. He isn't going to get that from her. And unfortunately, that's going to make the relationship for him on his side very difficult, right? Because you're always going to be thinking and feeling about how, you're linking your action to actually you. So this nice guy act is to insulate yourself from being criticized. That's why it's a problem. The nice guy act is a insulation from being criticized. It's interesting. I was with some friends, obviously, when I was on set the other day, and then was talking about things. And you know what? There was an opportunity. There was a time where someone said something, and I just said something back. And I thought to myself, I probably should say sorry here, because I feel like that might have been a little bit rude. And I said, no. Why am I apologizing? Oh, because I don't want people to make me look. I don't want people to think I'm a bad person. No. If I genuinely feel like I've done something wrong, I'm going to apologize to you on the set. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to say sorry. And there was another situation where there was genuinely a situation where I apologized. But one of the directors said something to me, and I was like, no, that's not correct. Right? And I said it quite strong, and I don't necessarily believe it was wrong, but I apologized because I understood also at the same time that person has pressures as a director. They're doing certain things. I said, listen, no. And then I went there and I said, listen, I apologize. Look, we saw things differently in that moment, but I also wanted to let you know that was my boundary. And she said, no, that's fine. You know what? I get it. It's like, it was a heat of the moment situation. Me and you did it. And she said, no, I'm so sorry too. I said, don't worry about it. It's cool. You know what I mean? And even from the fact that she could apologize in that moment too, made me go, whatever you need from me is going to happen. You want me to walk here? You want to go there? You want to do this? I'll do it. Because I can see that you have a respect for me. But when people are trying to be too nice, what they really are doing is creating insulation so there can't be criticism, because the criticism affects their ego. Do you know how I know that? Because that was me. That was me. I hated criticism. So I was nice in all situations so I could avoid criticism, so I could avoid critique. Truth of the matter is, you can't do that for very long. It gets boring. It gets heavy. You get sad. People take advantage of you. It's long. And then you blow up. So later on, when you see Justin talking with Alexis, and he starts doing manipulation at the end, and we'll do that in another video. His manipulations start coming towards the end of the video, right? Just subtle little aspects of manipulation start coming out. So, oh, Justin, that's where it is. That passive aggressive energy when it starts coming out because you want to tell the truth about how you feel. If you start telling me how you feel, you'll stop doing passive aggressive. When you start being vulnerable and letting me know how you feel, you're hurt by what I'm doing, you stop the passive aggressiveness. I was a very, very passive aggressive person where I would say slight digs, everything like that not behind you, but in front of you. But I would say it because I want to hurt you and because you hurt me. But rather than telling you, this hurt me, and taking some time, I'll be like, you know what, I thought about it. I want to be very honest and vulnerable with you. That hurt in the moment, and you know what, I didn't like that. Right? And I appreciate if that wasn't going to be the behavior next time. You can still do that. Right? You can still do that. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of us don't want to talk that talk because it means really changing the way that we approach scenarios. You've been fighting passive aggressive for too long, and that's Justin. And it's going to come about because the person you're dealing with is very, very, very direct. Right? And we can deal with her particular issues later on. But in this case, the nice guy act has got to drop. The crying has got to stop. Explain yourself without getting emotional, because it becomes manipulation at one point. All right? I appreciate you guys. Stay locked. Stay loaded. Keep watching these reviews. I really appreciate you. And leave your thoughts down below. What do you guys think? Much love and appreciation. We'll see you again very, very soon. And we'll talk some more. Much love and appreciation again.